Council Redevelopment Agency regular meeting of January 11th to order, please. Please stand for the pledge. Ready to begin?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please stand. I'd just like to tonight just take a moment of silence and just in remembrance of Councilmember Sam Cuellar of Patterson, who passed away Sunday morning, and also for those victims that were tragically killed in Arizona. Just a moment of silence, please. Thank you. May God bless. Roll call.
Councilmember Hutchins.
Here.
Davis. Candia.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Martina.
Present.
Mayor King.
Present. Declaration of conflicts of interest. Seeing none, move on to item 6, ceremonial matters. And we have a badge pending of Lieutenant Brett Short and a couple of corporals as well. Chief.
Evening, Mayor, council members. It's with great pleasure I'm before you tonight with a ceremonial badge pinning of Lieutenant Brett Short, Corporal Chad Earl, and Corporal Noel Borden. As most of you know, the police department restructured in June of 2010, reinstating the lieutenant position and the 2 corporal positions. This provided the balance needed for both administrative and field supervision. While all 3 of these gentlemen have been acting in this duty since June, just recently their positions were made permanent by the city. So I'd like to invite them 3 of them up and give a brief introduction about each one before we do the actual badge pinning. We're coming up. Just got to put Noel in front. Don't let him stand in back. You won't be able to see him. Sorry, Noel. First, I'd like to introduce Brett Short, Lieutenant Brett Short. He's accompanied tonight by his wife, Christy, daughter, Haley, grandma, Mary, nephews, Corbin and Austin. Brett joined the Newman Police Department in 2001, in February. Prior to that, he worked for the Shasta County Sheriff's Department. In approximately 2006, Lieutenant Short took the role of detective for the Newman Police Department. In 2008, he was promoted to sergeant, and in May of 2010, he was designated to acting lieutenant for the police department, where he's acted until December 16th when he accepted the full-time position as lieutenant. Next, we have Corporal Chad Earl. Tall enough? Tall. Okay. Chad started his career in the city of Newman in August of 2003. He was assigned to patrol. In 2007, Corporal Earl was instrumental in starting our K-9 program, and all of his hard work paid off, and he was assigned the K-9 position. He since then has started the K-9 Association and works very hard each year putting in the annual crab feed for the K-9 Association. It's a great crab feed. Tickets are going on sale soon for all of you out there. Corporal Earl has also been a POA president in the past. In 2010, Officer Earl tested for the corporal position and was selected. On January 1st, 2010, Officer Earl accepted the permanent promotion to corporal. Finally, we have Corporal Noel Borden. Corporal Borden is joined by several family members tonight: his wife Cassie, daughter Dalen, son Jace, his parents Terry and Dottie, and his in-laws Terry and Debbie. Did I get all that right?
Yep.
Okay. Corporal Borden joined the Newman Police Department in September of 2009. He previously worked for Ceres Police Department, Atwater Police Department, Modesto Police Department, and the Stanislaus County Sheriff's Department. Corporal Borden was first assigned to our downtown patrol officer, where he was also assigned as the bike officer. He looks really good in shorts, for all of you that don't remember. He rode laps up and down Main Street for about 9 months. And then he also tested in June of 2010 for the corporal position and was selected. And also on January 1st, he was accepted the role of corporal permanently. So I would like to invite up Christy and Jace and Elaine, which I was told to say that is Chad's den mother for the night, to pin on their badges. And I will step out of the way. If you guys want to stand up, get up closer and take pictures, now would be the time to do it. You guys all want to say a few words? No?
I'm good.
You okay? Sure?
Sure.
All right. I'd like to introduce the two corporals and the lieutenant.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Okay.
That's called a police officer's hug.
Okay, we're gonna take just a quick, about 5-10 minute break here real quick. Looks like Elaine's been busy, I take it. And got a few refreshments, so we'll take about 5-10 minutes and then we'll get back to business.
Hey, Ed,
Yes.
I'm going to pull
Yeah, I know, it's the other night.
38626 and 38628. like that, don't you?
At least it made a whistle. Yeah, and I started Weight Watchers last week.
Did you?
Hey.
Oh,
Did you
dang.
get the email I sent you?
Yeah, I didn't get any naps today.
Let's get started again, please.
If we could get these police officers out, quit yakking.
I tell you. Go to work. Go make us safe or something. All righty. Welcome back. We'll continue on to item 7, item from the public, non-agenda item. Any member of the public wish to address the council, now's the time to do it. All righty. Seeing none, we'll go to item 8, consent calendar. A is waive all readings of ordinances and resolutions as set by title. B is approval of the warrants. C is approval of the minutes of the December 14, 2010 regular meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull warrant number 38628 for separate consideration, please.
Okay, with the pulling of 038628, I have a motion by council.
I'll motion to accept.
We have a motion to approve. Second?
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the approval of the warrants with the exception of 038628. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving to item 038628 for separate consideration. Need a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
The motion, is there a second?
I second the motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All righty. We'll go on to item 9, public hearings. A, approve and adopt the WWTP, it's not wrestling, land purchase final initial study and negative declaration, and authorize staff to follow a notice of determination.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Before you is the initial study, negative declaration, and draft notice of determination for the wastewater treatment plant land purchase. Given the construction of the new 40-acre storage basin at the treatment plant, it was deemed necessary to purchase additional land and acreage for the plant. On October 12, 2010, the City Council authorized the City Manager to execute a land purchase agreement for an additional 142.1 acres. In order to execute the agreement, a CEQA review was required. CEQA is the California Environmental Quality Act, which is also known as an environmental review. Upon review, staff has deemed that the project will not have a significant effect on the environment, and a negative declaration was prepared. A negative declaration is pretty much saying that there aren't any impacts that will affect anything. A notice of intent to file a negative declaration has been filed, and all contiguous property owners have been notified. Staff has not received any opposing comments. The only comments we've received were the no comment or thank you for sending us your notification. In order to finalize the land purchase, the city must complete its CEQA review. Thus, staff recommends that the City Council approve and adopt the initial study negative declaration and authorize staff to file a notice of determination with the Merced County Clerk, given that the property is located in Merced County. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Seth before we open up public hearing? Seeing none, the public hearing is now open. Any member of the audience wish to address the council? Seeing none, bring it back to council for direction.
I'll make a motion to approve and adopt the WWTP land purchase final study, initial study, the negative declaration, and authorize staff to file a notice of determination.
I second that motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, go to item 10, regular business. A is adopt resolution number 20,011, next in number, a resolution approving funding from the Urban Forestry Grant Program entitled An Urban Forest for Every City, as provided through Propositions 40 and 84. Garner.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and council members.
As you stated, the item before you tonight is consider approving the filing of an application for funding for Proposition 40 and 84 urban forestry grant program funds. The City of Newman's general plan outlines the goals to maintain and enhance the quality of life by the city's landscaping and streetscaping and gateways by protecting and enhancing the tree canopy created by mature trees and heritage trees in the existing developed areas. Currently, trees at various sites around the City of Newman are in need of replacement as they have reached maturity and or are declining. Our trees provide various aesthetic and environmental benefits to the city by reducing the urban heat island effect and helping to preserve local energy resources. With the help of our consultant, California Consulting, in September 2010, the city applied for a Green Trees for Golden State grant. The city was successful with our concept application and has been selected to continue to advance to the full proposal stage. The objectives of the proposal were to develop a reforestation plan that adheres to city guidelines and CAL FIRE standards, plant 157 trees along certain city streets and parks within the city where the current urban forest resources are becoming depleted or in need of replacement, plant trees that mature to approximately 30 feet in height and width as a canopy, provide more shade and sound barriers, and reduce the urban heat island effect for city residents by the planting of these trees, provide further greening and clean air benefits for the city by planting of the trees, and use the project to provide educational benefits to the community residents regarding urban forestry and environmental benefits of the trees. Upon approval of the grant award, the city will develop a plan to meet the objectives listed above. In addition, the city will start an outreach program to actively seek volunteers from the community to ensure the community together sees the program through to completion. These trees will be planted along Sherman Parkway, P, Q, R, S, and T streets, Mariposa, Tulare, and Main streets, as well as within two city-owned parks, Densmore and Pioneer Park. The amount requested in the grant application is $42,718.50, with the grant part of it being $32,038.87, with the required 25% local match of $10,679. And that's broken down in your staff report by task and by matching funds and the amount requested. The local match is there's a 20-80 split. 80% would be approximately from the general fund of about $8,543.70, and the landscape and lighting district would be required to come up with a 20% local match of $2,135.93. This equals to about a 4-to-1 match on the general fund. For every dollar that the general fund would invest, we would see a $4 return in that. So it's a pretty good opportunity for us to maximize the value of our dollars. A requirement of the grant application is for the city to provide proof with the application package of an adopted resolution approving the filing of the application and for funding of the project. Therefore, staff recommends the City Council adopt a resolution approving the filing of the application and funding for the Proposition 40 and 84 Urban Forestry Grant Program funds. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them for you.
Questions of Garner?
Garner, just what, Sherman Parkway, where would that be as far as located on?
We've identified certain trees that are leaning way too far over that need to be removed and replaced.
Okay, that's.
There are young trees in there, but they were, for whatever reason, they're not in good shape at this point in time. It's probably a good idea to get in there and take those out.
Yeah.
We did do some pruning earlier, about mid-year last year, to help maybe straighten some of those that aren't leaning so bad. But we went through and identified some trees that are leaning so far over, it's just not conducive to
Okay,
leaving them in.
those are the ones you're talking about. then?
Right.
Yeah,
We've identified each and every tree in the application that we need to
very good,
replace.
very good. That's the only question I had.
Garner, are there going to be root barriers on these too? We're going to be putting root barriers in. However, the grant itself won't pay for those. Those come out of our local match.
With where some of these are going, do we already have sidewalk or cement problems in those areas that we're going to have to fix as we go, or is that going to come up under a different project? Or
We have a project that's currently in design phase. We should be bidding by the end of January along S and T Street to start. We're going to be taking out the curb and gutter and portions of sidewalks that are uprooted from the trees. And as part of that project, we'll take out all those trees that are affecting that infrastructure. And then next year, we'll be doing S, P, Q, and R Street as well to take those trees out. And then this grant will then go in and replace those trees and put those root barriers in. So this kind of works in. If we get this grant, it works out really nice. We can have one contract that comes in and takes out all the trees, gets the curb and gutter fixed and everything, and then we come back and use this project to replace those trees.
thank you.
Any other questions? I just comment. I think it's just it's another way of identifying how I think California Consulting has helped us. That was probably a pretty wise move on our part. I think it's a recommendation of the city manager a long time ago. it's these little things. They're not huge, but those little grants keep rolling in. It's great.
We actually have another grant that I was going to talk about on my items, but it's a grant for recycled tires, using those shredded tires for our mulching areas. And California Consulting is helping with that one as well.
That's fabulous. Okay, council direction.
I move we adopt resolution number 2011, next number, a resolution approving funding from the Urban Forestry Grant Program entitled An Urban Forest for Every City as provided through Propositions 40 and 84.
Second motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item B is adopt resolution number 2011, next to number, resolution awarding the bid for downtown plaza project bathrooms and authorize the city manager to execute an agreement for services. Garner again.
Thank you, Mayor. The item before you tonight is consider awarding the Downtown Plaza project bathrooms to Perma Green Hydro Seating Incorporated. This project includes a design build of graffiti and vandal-proof restroom facilities not to exceed 400 square feet located in the Downtown Plaza project. The project will be designed such that we'll have a separate men's and women's facilities. Each facility will have 2 toilets with partitions in there, 1 sink and 1 hand dryer in each restroom, 2 exterior vandal-proof energy-efficient lights, electronic time blocking mechanism, a separate room for supplies, and that room will also house the brain for our cameras that have installed at the Plaza project, interior lighting, and 300 square feet of reinforced colored concrete to match the Plaza project. All the facilities inside the restroom will be stainless steel to help with the vandal proofing. In addition, the exterior design of this restroom shall be such that the restrooms complement the architectural design of the Plaza project. We're not just going to go in and put up a simple block wall structure. They're going to be putting some architectural features on the outside that will reflect the intent and the design of the Plaza project. This design will be submitted to the city. It's a design-build project, so the contractor is required to submit a set of drawings to the city to approve prior to construction. The Plaza project right now is approximately 90-95% complete. They're in the landscaping phase of the project. The current projected total estimated cost for that project, including construction, project management, our required local match, and a contingency is approximately $2,335,000. Total funding for the Plaza project was approximately $2,646,596. Therefore, there's an estimated remaining funds of $310,596. All of the ERA, CMAQ, and RSTP grant funding is going to be utilized for the construction of the Plaza project. The remaining funds for this project would then come from our $400,000 Stanislaus County interest-free loan that we obtained for the Plaza project. City advertised for bids for approximately 2 weeks, with the bids open and read on January 5th at 2 p.m. A total of 1 bid was submitted for this project. The engineer's estimate was approximately $150,000. Our lowest responsible bidder for the project has been determined to be Perma Green Hydro Seating for a cost of $149,314. You can see the funding breakdown on the fiscal impact as the total funding available with our estimated funding balance right now with a project of $310,000. Therefore, staff recommends the City Council adopt a resolution awarding the Downtown Plaza project bathroom to Perma Green Hydro Seating for $149,314 and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Any questions of Garner? Seeing none, bring it back to council for direction.
I so move that we adopt resolution number 2011, next number, a resolution awarding the bid for the Downtown Plaza project bathrooms and authorize the city manager to execute an agreement for services.
Second motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you,
Thank you.
Garner. Okay, we'll go to item C, is City Council reorganization, selection of Mayor Pro Tem and committee assignments. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor. At the beginning of every new election cycle, which is every 2 years, there's a series of committees and committee assignments that are passed out and doled out and volunteered for by this council. Some of those are already set due to the bylaws of a certain committee, specific committees, and we kind of gave you some breakdown on that. So with that, though, I'd just like to go ahead and just turn it over to yourself, Mayor, and
Okay.
you can lead the discussion about who sits where and which of the committees.
All righty. Some of you have already are assigned to, or have volunteered to sit on certain committees. I received a email from Councilmember Hutchins, who's expressed interest in a couple of different committees. So why don't we just go down the list one by one, and we can talk about who currently sits on those and if there's still an interest to sit on those committees. First is Mayor Pro Tem is Councilman Member Bob Martina, currently sits on that. Stan Cog is myself and Councilmember Martina is the alternate. The Alliance, Councilmember Martina sits on that, which is one seat. LAFCO, City Selection Committee, I'm deemed to sit on that one, as well as item 5, Stanislaus Mayor's Committee, I'm sitting on that one. League of California Cities Executive Committee, Councilmember Martina sits on that. School Liaison Representative, it was Councilmember Kelly prior to his resignation. Since then, Councilmember Candia and Councilmember Martina sit on that. That's a 2-on-2 meetings with the school district. The Infrastructure Committee, formerly was the Wastewater Treatment Task Force. Councilmember Davis and Candia sits on that. And then the EDAC is myself and my designee, the city manager. Crow's Landing Airfield, West Side Economic Development, Councilmember Davis. Tosca, Councilmember Kelly was sitting on that. I'm a member of the board of directors for Tosca, so I kind of fill both sides, but if anybody else has an interest of seeing what Tosca is all about, that'd be great. The Solid Waste Task Force, Councilmember Candia and Public Works Director Reynolds sits on that. The Chamber of Commerce, Councilmember Davis sits on that committee. The West Side Theater Liaison, it was myself and Councilmember Kelly was sitting on that. And then the Public Utilities Committee, which formerly was the CATV Committee, Councilmember Candia and Kelly and the city manager sat on that committee. The Public Safety Committee is myself and Councilmember Martina. The Countywide Disaster Council is myself and the city manager. The San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District Special City Selection Committee was Councilmember Kelly, so that is now open. And then the West Side Health Care Task Force is Councilmember Candia and Martina. And then the Orstema Creek Flood Control is myself. So, yes.
May I just interject 1 second? On number 12, it's a solid waste task force, and I know Councilmember Candia has done an excellent job on that. But on the direction of Councilmember Candia, we called up. It seems like a lot of that is designated off to a staff member. It seems that when we spoke with the person who's running that committee, it's mostly staff that's showing up for that particular one. There's very few, if any, council members that show up for that. So with all due respect to the council, if no one objects, we'd like to just maybe designate a public works official to attend that meeting. It is a midday meeting, and I think, Nick, did you, I don't think any of them, I don't think there's any council members that ever show up.
Okay.
It's mostly just staff members that show
Okay.
up on that one, so.
I made it for
Yeah, and it was mostly staff or all staff, yeah.
And a lot of these, some of them that I sit on meet more regularly than others. I'm not sure how often some of the others meet, but I think if we cross each one of those and the person who sits on those may give a little bit of input and see, they're all important, at some point in time, but again, some meet more than others. So why don't we deal with item 1, which is the designee of the Mayor Pro Tem, and any recommendations?
I recommend that we leave Bob Martina in that position. He's the senior member of the council.
Don?
I think that's a good idea if Bob still wants to do it.
I'd be happy to know that we save money because we won't have to buy another. Think about it.
That's what we're thinking.
Very, very good, then.
You gotta be thinking of all these
All right,
things.
Bob. All right.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the.
Sure. And then Stan Cog, I sit as a member of the director on that committee. There is an alternate. I make those pretty regularly, so if somebody else wants to sit as an alternate, just in case I can't make it, open for suggestions who might want to sit on that. That's every second Wednesday of the month, and we meet in Modesto again. So I make all of those for the most part. So Councilman Martinez sits as the alternate. Anybody else has an interest?
Okay, go ahead. A lot of times, some of these meetings, the timing on them just makes it impossible for me to attend. That's something else that we probably should have indicated on here, because the timing, if you're working like,
Well, it's a 15-member board.
so it's,
So, I make
You make some.
95% of,
Yeah,
of the
see.
meetings. So
yeah, you're probably okay.
okay. The third one is the Alliance, and Bob, you sit on that. How often do they meet?
How often what?
The Alliance.
Well, I'll be quite honest, it's been difficult to make those meetings sometimes, and I would prefer not to sit on that committee, but if no one else will take it, I'll continue, but a lot of times they've had meetings at lunchtime, and there's just no way I can make it.
Okay. Michael, have you gone to some of those?
I've been to a few of them, and yeah, I think a lot of them. They're probably around quarterly, and lots of times they are lunch.
Is
They
that
go
another
along
one you
with
think maybe we ought to have a staff member?
There are a lot of elected officials on that committee, and it's not only elected officials, but it's a public partnership.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of
And it's an
individuals
important one.
that sit at leads in their corporations or businesses.
If Bob doesn't mind, I can, because daytime meetings I can usually make now.
Okay.
And I was
great.
chairperson of that committee in Merced County. So,
Welcome to Stanislaus County, Don.
Thank you, Don.
All right, Don, you can sit on that one then. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay, then the LAFCO Selection Committee, I sit on that one. And in fact, we're meeting here tomorrow. Then obviously, item 5, Stanislaus Mayor's Committee, I sit on that. The League of California Cities Executive Committee, and I just got an email from Stephen Qualls indicating that he needs an updated list who might be sitting as the representative from City of Newman. And Bob, you've sat on that in the past. I think they meet.
Yeah.
They meet quarterly.
I think it's quarterly, it's not that often.
Okay. Do you want to continue in that role? Or do you want-
Somebody else wants to,
If somebody else wants to sit on
go ahead.
LAFCO, League of the Executive Committee, and that's usually meeting with Stephen Qualls, who's our league representative. And I think there's other council members, and I might be that sit on that. And that's usually an evening meeting, and it seems they meet in series. Haven't they been meeting regularly?
Most of the meetings are in series.
So we probably should make sure we have somebody sits on that as well. So if
if Bob wants to keep up with it, otherwise that would be one I'd be interested in too. So.
Okay.
But I don't want to take anything,
No, you're not.
As the senior member, you're saying get me off all the
you-
committees.
Okay, all right, Don, then thank you for volunteering for that. The school liaison representatives, Nick and Bob have been on that role. Bob's been on that role for quite a while, so I'd like to make sure we keep you on there.
Yeah.
You've had a good relationship with them, and Nick, you've taken over for Ted, so I'd like to see you
That's fine.
maintain
Yeah.
that. We've got a good relationship with the school
Oh, yeah.
board.
No, I don't have a problem with that.
Then the infrastructure committee, I'm not sure how often they meet, do they?
I've never met yet in 2 years, so.
Pretty important.
You can leave me on it, though.
Okay, all right, and Roberta also sits on that, so I'm not sure.
We haven't met.
And one of these days they'll probably say, maybe we ought to meet.
Yeah.
Okay, and then item 9 is EDAC is this, I sit on that along with the city manager, and Michael, you pretty much attend those.
Yeah, those are evening meetings.
Yeah.
I've been attending those,
Yeah.
and it's economic development.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, there is a mix. There's a mix of
Yeah.
staff and council, so.
Michael, again, pretty much attends those. If anybody else wants to partake, I'd be more than happy to give up my seat. I don't think I'm mandated to sit on that. Nope. So if anybody is interested in economic development, if not, I'll stay on it, and Michael's my designee, and he attends those meetings, and I try to make him every once in a while, but I think it falls in conflict with something else I have. So, okay, the Crow's Landing Airfield, West Side Economic Development. Roberta sits on that. I don't know how often they meet. Do you have any idea, Michael?
Yeah, they have not been meeting that often.
Okay. Well, let's leave her there then. Item 11 is Tosca. Again, I am a board member, so I attend all the meetings. But if somebody else has an interest of knowing and what goes on with Tosca, we have a non-voting member from our council that sits in those meetings. So if anybody's interested in attending those meetings, Tosca is a great organization, obviously, and so.
Those normally evening meetings.
5:30, and they last. The longest meeting I've ever been to is about 45 minutes. It's pretty cut and dry. We take care of business pretty quickly. So 5:30, and you're usually out of there by 6, and that's at the West Side Index.
Nobody else wants to jump in on, I don't know, I haven't heard from
Yeah, and like I say, it's
Councilmember Davis if she wants any, added anything.
yeah,
to her.
it's a non-voting seat, and Ted was
That's
going.
the best kind.
Yeah, Ted was going for a while, but again, since I sit on the board of directors, he thought didn't really need to be there, so he stopped going. But you're more welcome to take that. And again, it's just a representative from the council, so to get some insight. The Solid Waste Task Force, we'd already said Garner's going to take care of that. The Chamber. How often do you guys meet, Dave?
We meet the first Monday of every month.
And has Councilmember Davis attended those?
We do need someone.
It would be nice to have somebody
Yes.
attend those from the council.
And we meet, this, February 7th is our next meeting. We'll be at Same Tea Restaurant.
Okay. And I think it's good for us to have that nexus with the chamber, obviously, and it'd be good to have a council representative. So if anybody would like to sit on that, that'd be great.
What are the times?
6 o'clock in the evening on the first Monday of the month.
I don't know if I can make every one of them. That's the problem.
I could help either one.
We're not making them anyway, so I think if we made one, we're
Ahead of the game.
doing pretty
Go
good.
ahead and put me down.
Anything is welcome.
Okay,
Go ahead,
all
put me
right.
down.
So I'll tell you what, we'll put Nick down there and then put Bob as his
Yeah,
alternate. How's that? Okay. Yeah, we all make the mixers pretty regularly, so. And item 14 is the West Side Theater Liaison. I sat on that, and as did Ted for a while as an alternate. And I tried to attend those as regularly as I could, and then I've dropped off.
Well, that's the same night as you have your SANCOG meetings.
And that's probably why they dropped off for me. Because we changed our meeting dates.
We would appreciate anyone being.
It'd be nice to have a council member against a non-voting seat, but.
Any ideas or what?
Yeah, and they're very, receptive when I was there, just to listen in. So if somebody would like to sit on that,
Those are the second Wednesday of the month at the theater at 6:30.
can you do that, Don?
Wednesdays are really a bad night for me because of church commitments, but if it's once a month?
It's the second Wednesday of the month.
I can probably do that, yeah.
Okay, great, that'd be good. And I say, and I try to hit when I can, but and the Public Utilities Committee, Nick sits on that along with former council member Kelly and the city manager. Are those?
Yeah, those are usually used to negotiate contracts and extensions, and at this point in time, we just recently passed them.
Yeah.
Probably within the last 5 years, so it's kind of sitting idle at this point in time.
Okay.
Can those be set up as an ad hoc committee, just to be set up if we ever come up with something,
We could.
rather than have somebody have to be assigned to it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Then the Public Safety Committee, I sit on that, and Councilmember Martina. Don, it'd probably be good to have you sent, I mean, with, you know, with your years of law enforcement experience and with mine, they don't meet very often, but it'd probably be good to have someone on there with law enforcement experience as well. So, Bob, if you don't mind, I'll ask Don to sit on that.
Okay.
And then the Countywide Disaster Council, I sit on that along with the city manager as the alternate. And we're meeting
Coming up
next
Thursday.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, it's either this Thursday or next
Thursday. It's next Thursday. At Ray Simon. So I'll continue to sit on that. Unless somebody, you know, I think Don, I think you expressed some interest in that.
But the disaster council?
The Countywide Disaster Council.
Well, the emergency plan's probably been updated recently, and
It has.
everything, hasn't it?
It has. It has.
So now if you're,
In fact, I think Lieutenant Short just did an update on it, didn't he?
Correct, we still have the local hazardous
mitigation
plan out
to the state for approval.
oh, if you want to stay there.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I told him I'd be at the meeting, so. Okay, the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District, Special City Selection. That sounds exciting. And Councilmember Kelly said on that. I don't know how often they meet. Michael, do you?
I don't. Mike tells me they generally meet in Modesto through a teleconference. Tom, any?
Yes, like once a year to pick the city who's gonna be the rep on there, basically.
Okay.
Very limited.
Somebody want a limited selection?
Worst case scenario, you're probably looking quarterly.
Or, yeah, the biggest thing is they pick who's on the board.
Mayor, and just for clarification, we'll work on getting the better on when these meetings are and stuff like that for the next time we do
Okay.
this, and we'll.
Does that strike interest in anybody? I know that we have some dealings with the Air Pollution Control Board with the wastewater plant, right? With some salinity issues and.
No, that's the Regional Water Quality Control Board.
Oh,
This is the Air Pollution Control
air.
District.
So
Yeah.
basically, this committee makes a selection of who from each city is going to sit on the board? Is that what?
Yeah, we'll have a local committee that kind of talks regionally, and then they have one who represents in the bigger valley-wide. So.
Thank you, Don.
Being the new guy on the block.
I don't know why I had your name penciled in there.
And Councilmember Hutchins, we'll track down the date and times for that. So just to give you, if you have any conflicts, you can let us know. We can always bring that back.
Okay.
And the West Side Health Care Task Force, I like to keep Nick and Bob on. You guys been working on that,
Yes.
so we have that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. That'd be. And the last is the Orsimba Creek, and I've kind of been involved in that, so I'll stay on that. So, okay, so that takes care of the committee assignments. Thank you, everybody, and we'll get your meeting dates and the frequency of those meetings, and carry on, do the good work for the city. Alrighty. We'll move on to item 11, items from District 5 Supervisor Jim DeMartini. Jim?
Good evening, Mayor Caton, council members. Glad to see that you have your new 2011 calendar up. You guys are just really right on the ball. The West Side Healthcare Task Force has printed these up, and these are drawings from students from both Patterson, Newman, and Gustine. In fact, there's 5 different districts that are represented on that calendar. In the last few days, I've been going around to the schools, presenting the awards, certificates, and dropping off the calendars. Last night, I was in Newman with Bob Martinez. We made our presentation to the Newman School District. Gustine was scheduled for tomorrow, but they've moved their meeting back to another week. And I give the awards $50 gift certificates. It was donated by Mattis Newspapers. And there was some of them certificates. The $100 one was donated by the Del Puerto Healthcare District, and then some from Stanislaus County. Last night they were primarily from the Mattos newspapers. So we have, I've got to make one more trip into Patterson and then Gustine this next week. The task force will meet here in Newman the next time on January 27th. We appreciate your hospitality there. Everybody's judged by the food that they have at the meetings.
It's supposed to be healthy food.
It could be, but it's not always. But as you know, we rotate between Newman, Patterson, and Gustine. The last meeting was in Gustine, and so we will move back down Highway 33, and following meeting will be in Patterson. At this next meeting of the task force, we'll be going over some of the OSHPOD data, which is why people go to hospitals, for what reason, and where they go. Whether they go into a doctor's hospital, Emmanuel Hospital, or Los Banos, or wherever, and the reason why they're going. And we have the data. I was looking it over today. It was compiled last year, but the task force at the last meeting wanted to review it again and try and come up with a strategic plan of maybe what we could do to try and implement some healthcare improvements in this area. It's, we're still looking at specialists and especially extended hours, and knowing why people are having to go out of the area to the emergency room will actually help us try and design a after-hours center that would deal with these types of emergencies. We would never be able at this time to deal with really severe emergencies like strokes or heart attacks, but for a lot of things, a urgent care clinic could take care of probably 2/3 to 3/4 of what's really going on from the statistics I've seen. So we're going to be talking about that, and then we have the schedule that we will be putting out for the hikes and Bike for Your Life. These are exercise type programs that are really kind of fun things. Hikes along Del Puerto Creek and bicycle riding and healthier lifestyle choices, that sort of thing. So that's where we're at on that. As far as the EDAC meeting, if I forget who was assigned to that, that is January 20th at the county. Also, the Disaster Council was rescheduled for the same day on January 20th. We did not have a quorum this last time, so I hope everybody can make it. At these Disaster Council meetings, I represent the county on that. We're preparing for all sorts of disasters. Hopefully, there's things that will never happen, but things like outbreaks of diseases in animals, chickens, cattle, earthquakes, floods, forest fires, just every kind of disaster you can imagine, and how we're going to coordinate emergency services, how we're going to handle volunteers, and bringing in federal help when we need it, and state. So it's really kind of important, and we have to kind of lay out the program for what we're going to do in each type of emergency. That's going to be 1:30 on January 20th. And I don't have anything on the Orristemba Creek flood project, except I could tell you our Public Works Director is very frustrated with the Corps of Engineers, and he is working on some way to bypass the Corps of Engineers and build the project without them. The last time I talked to him, which was just before Christmas, his feeling was the Corps of Engineers would never be satisfied. And so he has a way maybe we can go around them and get something done. Otherwise, we're going to be studying this project for the next 100 years. The only other thing I'd just like to say is the Crow's Landing Air Base. Today, at our board meeting, I'd formally asked Camillus to present his project to the board. As you know, this project's been dragging on for at least 4 years now, and we've been told that he's going to do this, and he's going to create this 37,000 jobs, and he's got all the financing. In a public information request that was done a few months ago, there has been absolutely nothing done in this project in more than 2 years. So it's time that I think that the board has to have him in front of us, and either he's got a project that he's going to present, or as I suggested, we should terminate our exclusive negotiations with him, which is our right to do with a 30 days notice, and begin again with a new RFP and see what interest that we have in the project. So, and that just happened today. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Alrighty, items from the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. Just a point of information, next, City Hall will be closed next Monday due to a holiday. It's Martin Luther King Day, so we'll be closed on that particular day. The following day is a Tuesday, it's the third Tuesday of the month. We have our 2-on-2 with the school board district, so I'll be touching bases with you on that again. We do have a planning commission meeting scheduled for January 20th. That's held here in the city council chambers at 7 p.m. That'll be a week from Thursday. Again, that's January 20th. Some good news. As you know, we've discussed a lot about the agreement the city of Modesto has with a card lock facility located within our boundaries. And many of you are aware that we've been fighting this since day one, and so much so that we took a contingency of people up to Sacramento and met with a board member of the Board of Equalization and presented our case to them. Well, it turns out that we're not 100% confirmation yet because we haven't got the letter from the Board of Equalization, but it's proving that to a certain extent we were correct, and we believe we will be recovering a substantial amount of money from sales tax that was misappropriated to the city of Modesto that should have come to us. And we should be getting a pretty substantial number moving forward. Is it the amount that we were getting prior to the agreement? It is not. It's probably maybe half of that amount. But half is better than nothing, and I think in the long run it's definitely going to be something. Because we filed a appeal 2 quarters ago, we get to go back 3 quarters from there. So we could be up to 5 or 6 quarters of misappropriated funds, so that of sales tax that may be coming to our community. So that's a pretty substantial number for us, just because of tax issue that can divulge on what that number is. But it's a good hit for us, or a good number for us. So we're excited, but again, we're going to hold off all applause until we finally get the ruling in writing from the Board of Equalization. But we've had conversations with their staff, and ever since we met with them, we've never given up on this issue. We've always called, and we've always asked, where's it at, where's it at, where's it at? And within the last 30 to 45 days, things have started tilting to our favor. And
So I shouldn't rub Jim's face in it tomorrow?
Not yet, but
I'll see him tomorrow.
We'll let you know when.
Okay.
We'll let you know when, so. Because they're going to feel it.
Oh, he's going to feel it.
Yeah. Just FYI, both youth and adult league basketball has started. So those who are interested in watching a good basketball game can go down to either Hunt or Stemba on a Saturday morning, or Stemba on a Sunday morning to watch adult men's basketball. Our annual 700 forms, Statement of Economic Interest, are out, and those should have been distributed to you. You have until March 18th to submit those. The sooner you get them, the better off we are. It's one of those things. If you need any help, you can contact us or go to the FPP website, and they can definitely help you fill those out. There was a letter placed in front of you today from the Salvation Army. Their Kettle Drive leader was thankful for city staff that we had a city day where we volunteered and manned the kettles and collected money for that. And I think over $500 was collected there. On a per day basis, we did very well for the Salvation Army, so that's good news for our community. Most of that money does stay here. And then lastly, I'd just like to take an opportunity to congratulate Lieutenant Short and our two corporals, Mr. Earl and Noel Borden. And under our new leadership with Chief Richardson and now Lieutenant Short and Corporal Borden, our crime stats and crimes are going down through this restructure, which was the brain trust of Chief Richardson. We've have more people on the street, we have supervisors on the street, and you're starting to see that in the crime stats. So I'll be sharing those with you real shortly because it's something to be attributed. This reorg is proving to be beneficial to our residents, and also we got some new leadership in our department that's coming up with great ideas. So I just want to thank them, and that's all that I had today. Unless you have any questions of me.
Any questions, Michael?
Michael, I had just one, with the downtown plaza, it's beautiful now and everything else. The McBride building, is there anything as far as blending that in with that area? Because I know that it's going to be an eyesore unless something happens to it.
Yeah, we wanted to really get through the plaza, but we're going to come back with a plan probably in the next 60 to 90 days.
Because I know the restrooms are going to go on one side of that, aren't they?
They're going to go to the north side and be on the eastern edge, kind of back there where the trash enclosure is currently built. So we'll bring some proposals to you within the next 60 to 90 days on how we can, make that more aesthetically pleasing to blend in better with the plaza, and then also to try to market it a little bit.
Yeah,
better.
as far as the usage.
Yeah, we've hit up a couple different organizations about the use of that particular building. So some of those are still ongoing as we speak.
Okay. Thank you.
Michael, don't we have a potential open position in the police department too, sir?
Yes, we do. We just actually had an officer, Mr. Brian Elness, who, unfortunately for us, fortunately for him, he was picked back up from the city of Manteca. He was a former officer in Manteca. Budget cuts cut him back, but they have since recovered and now are offering him this position back. So we will be having an opening here shortly.
Great. Okay, and Michael, just so I don't forget, I think it'd be appropriate, could we send something from the city of Newman to the city of Patterson? Sure. And remembrance of Sam Cuellar? I think it'd be appropriate. Okay, staff, who's up? Garner.
Jealous, aren't you? Let me raise this up a little bit here.
You're not going to ask for money, right?
No, I've already done that. I'll just give you a quick update on what's going on in the Public Works Department. The Plaza project, as you were just talking about, thank you for approving the bathroom addition. That's going to work out nice. The contractor will be able to move from finishing up the landscaping and punch list items right into getting that bathroom constructed. So I really appreciate that. The landscaping and punch list items, probably in the next two and a half weeks, we'll get that finished up and hopefully open up the east parking lot and get that all ready to go. The CDBG project I mentioned earlier about tree removals on S&T Street, that one's currently under design. We hope to be out to bid in end of this month, bring it back to for your recommendation and approval. If we so get such good bids on that one, probably come to council in mid to late February for that project to be under construction for this spring. There's also a phase 2 that goes with that. The CDBG projects phase 2 and 3, S&T Streets phase 2, and then PQ and R, curb gutter and sidewalk, is phase 3. We should be receiving our new CNG lift truck that was 100% grant funded through CMAQ monies. Probably tomorrow or the next day. It's down in Fresno right now, getting the CNG part of it put on the truck. We're going to use that to showcase and go downtown. And we've unplugged all the lights on the trees. We haven't taken them out, so we're going to use that new truck, which is a bigger and better and safer truck than our old one, to showcase that one, to take all the lights down and things of that nature. And one last thing I'd like to talk to you about is, I don't know if you've noticed, but Caltrans has been out here on the highway recently. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. I was pushing real hard. I sent multiple emails up through Caltrans as many as I could to get them out here to help fix some of the complaints we were getting with the pavement that they did. I got almost everything I wanted. Yancey Lumber was one of them that was complaining about their driveway approach. They were scraping quite a bit due to them increasing the cross slope on the sidewalk, or the driveway approach in there. So they've come up with a fix. They're going to be emailing that to me. And then Newman Smog and Lube, theirs was the reverse. Yancey's was down, theirs is up, and they were hitting as they went over the top, so they come up with a fix for that one. And then I don't know if you've noticed the undulations that we have over here on the east side of Yolo on Highway 33. You know, we stood out there and I showed Caltrans how nervous it makes me when our big rigs go down there and you see them all rocking and rolling. So they're going to come up with a fix for that one as well, and I should be hearing in about a week or so on that. And they have funding for that. In addition to that, their maintenance crew showed up out here at the same time to see what was going on with the maintenance of the Highway 33. So they've been out cleaning all the storm drains at our request to help get that cleaned up. And then over here on Tulare Street, we had some collapsed storm drain pipes that have been causing problems for a number of years. They've got barricades in there now. They've removed the pipes, and we're helping get the materials together so they can install those pipes and get those corrected, and on Stanislaus as well. And they've been up and down the highway cleaning all the drains and getting them all together. We met the new supervisor who's going to commit to ensuring that they help us with our storm drainage every year out here and ensure that everything looks nice out here. So it was real nice to have Caltrans. We had about 6 representatives at one time, and we marched them up and down Highway 33. And in addition to that, we found out, I didn't know this, but they have about $3,000 a year that they allocate to the city of Newman for repairs on Highway 33. It's not a lot of money, but we could use it for sidewalk repairs. And there's some sidewalks down on Highway 33 that are up and down. We've been doing some grinding on our own. Well, they told us if we'll submit a project that they'll approve up to $3,000 in funding, so we're working on that as well.
Great.
That's about all I had for you. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Question, Gardner?
I just have one, Gardner. I'm still working on the lights. And as far as the timing on the lights, it looks like originally, when the lights were set, they were more user-friendly. And now I don't know what they are. I mean, it's just like, if you can come up there and the lights will not change. I mean, it's just like, there's no cross traffic. And right now, I don't know, to me, it's set up different than it was before. Am I right or am I wrong, or?
A few months back, I asked them that, and they told me they put the timing back to where it was before. But
I don't think so,
No,
because
they haven't.
because you can be on 33 at the light and it's red, and you can sit there and there's be no cross.
2 minutes.
You think it would cycle,
It
it would trip it, to allow you to keep going southbound, but it won't, because it cycles back to the turn lane, the east-west, and
so if it's skipping a turn, I mean, if it's hitting the turn lane without a vehicle being there, then they don't have it set up right.
it's not.
It's
Okay.
not set up.
Yeah, it's not.
No.
I will
Yeah.
get on the phone again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
And-
sorry to bother you
Nope.
with that one, but it's just.
I will take care of that.
Originally, it was fine. I mean, it was great.
Mhm.
And when they came out and they made what changes they made, and then they brought it back supposedly what it was before, it never came back.
That's what I was told by the representative,
Yeah,
but
they never did.
in the morning I'll be making some phone calls.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just obviously do it yourself, have think about it, because
Mhm.
you can sit there, and if you're the only car at that whole intersection, it'll completely cycle through, and then instead of tripping it, if you're the lone vehicle at southbound,
Mm-hmm.
lone vehicle, you think it would, alert it to cycle.
Skip over the
It
turn
won't.
lanes.
It won't.
Okay.
You'll sit there, then it'll do the cross traffic, it'll do the turn lanes, then it'll finally allow you to go.
Well,
It was
we're-
even doing the walk, don't walk too, no
Yeah.
matter whether there was any pedestrians there pushing the thing or not.
Well, it
It
worked
was
by
going
getting
through
them out here and driving them up and down the highway,
Yeah.
so I'll get them out here and we'll drive
Yeah.
the lights too, and so they can check that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
But things are probably getting pretty good, the fact that we have to look for something like that.
I'll take that as a compliment then.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
please do.
Absolutely. Thanks, Garner.
You bet. Thank you.
Lou?
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. I just want to bring you up to speed on Springbrook software. Originally, our plan was in March when we were going to start our installation, and it looks like we get to move that up. Before the end of the month, we're going to start sending data files over to Springbrook for them to begin testing. February, they'll be installing the software on our servers. And during that month, we'll also be setting up all of our different settings for all the different meter sizes and all that. In March, we'll be doing training and parallel testing of both our current software and new Springbrook software. We're running them side by side to make sure that we're getting the same output out of both of them. By April, we will be live on utility billing for Springbrook. May and June, we're going to be installing the finance and payroll section of Springbrook, and we estimate that by July 1st, we'll be 100% live on the new software. We had a business process study done a while back, and we couldn't find anything significant that would cause problems for us for the conversion or the methods or way we handle our current processes. After July 1st, at some future point, we're going to be installing the web access portion of the software, where customers can go in and set up their own accounts and review their customer history. As part of the whole process, we're going to be transferring on the utility side not only the customer's information, but 3 years of meter usage and 3 years of billing history. So that once they get the web portion installed, they'll be able to go and see how they've been progressing over the last, I think it's 24 months is what they actually display. If you have any questions, be glad to answer them for you.
Question on Blue? So this should be a program, something we're going to be able to use for a long time.
Yes, long time. Springbrook's has actually been very good. They've started the same time that Corbin Willits did with our current software. And if you look at the two packages side by side, you can see that Springbrook is actively trying to improve and add other features to their product. Corbin Willits really hasn't done that. They still look like they're out of the 80s.
Oh, I'm glad we're not.
Yeah.
Thanks, Luke.
You're welcome.
Chief.
Good evening again, Mayor, council members. You guys already touched on Brian Eldis, but I wanted to just touch on a little bit. We will be losing a tremendous officer with a tremendous amount of experience and knowledge. He will be moving on to Manteca, which puts us another officer down. But I wish him well in his future or current or whatever he's doing again in Manteca. Second thing, I would like to thank everybody who contributed and who showed up for the T.J. Gonzalez Memorial. If you were there, it was a great event, great ceremony, and I would just like to thank everybody who donated and was there for that. Thank you, Mayor, for emceeing it for us on that day. And lastly, I would just like to invite everybody to join us on Facebook. You can get our statistics weekly and all our weekly updates there and see what we're doing at the Newman Police Department. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions of the chief? I just had my comments, Randy. I was just going to say I thought you guys did a tremendous job on the memorial, and I know the family was deeply touched and very appreciative. And the plaque is gorgeous. I'm sure everybody has seen it. I'll just commend you and Miguel for stepping up and getting that done. I really appreciate it. It was a great day. The weather even kind of gave us a little break, and but it turned out very, very nice, and so thank you so much.
It rained hard at the football game.
Yeah, yeah.
I got wet.
Yeah. I watched you idiots out there. I mean, watched you guys play. Yeah. Okay, Stephanie, anything? Okay. Council members, Don, we'll start with you.
Well, I guess next week I get to go back to the academy after 30-something years. Fortunately, this one's a little bit shorter than the last one I went to, but I'm looking forward to that. I did have a quick question, and with this West Side Healthcare Task Force, is that, do you meet with the healthcare district? Is that who you meet with?
Supervisor DeMartini started up, and so there's members from Gustine, members from Patterson.
There's both the West Side Healthcare District. They don't come real regular, but Del Pardo's there every time. We have somebody from Golden Valley, Emmanuel Hospital, and Sutter Gould. It's municipal governments and businesses like Keystone and healthcare professionals. And we've involved the school districts also in this drawing and art contest and essay contest. So it's quite a group.
And the reason I ask that is because it appears like the districting in the West Side Healthcare District is really messed up. They can't ever fill the seats because of the way it's districted in the county election board, and I don't know if we can do anything about that, but it does influence, our citizens. And I guess there's one seat they haven't filled in umpteen years because of the way that the districts are set up, and I didn't know if, is there any way we can find out how that's set up, Michael?
Yes, Councilmember, let us do some, make some phone calls, and we'll see if we can get a copy of the bylaws and see how that is set up.
Thank you.
The district lines can only be changed by landfill, but there's a process for it. And if there's some inequity there, the lines can be changed.
Anything else, Don?
That was it for me.
Nick?
Not tonight.
Bob?
No, not tonight.
Okay, me either. So we'll adjourn to a closed session. Good night.